Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you all here today. I am Prerna Chaube, founder and user researcher at Primanti Research Group. And today we are going to dive into a critical topic for any founder, creator, or an innovator that is finding your niche, how to stand out in a crowded market. Now, before we begin the session, here's a little story about me finding my niche market. So, this goes to last year. I was approached by my colleagues and my friends who were starting new businesses to conduct user research for them. This is when I stumbled on the idea of opening my own consultancy and finally founded Humanity Research Group last year in March. I am also a doctoral researcher at UNT, and my dissertation focuses on how virtual reality impacts the cultural intelligence in corporate workspaces. So, today in our session, I would be leveraging my existing skills and my research experience to help you identify the niche market for your business. So, let's get started. So, we are going to dive into a critical topic for any founder, creator, or an innovator, that is, finding your niche and how to stand out in a crowded market. So, why does this matter? Because most ideas fail not due to poor execution, but due to poor alignment with a real audience. The market, as we all know, is saturated. Attention spans are short, and differentiation has never been more essential. So, today we'll unpack a process that blends together user research, lean validation, and emerging trends such as AI, VR, and cultural intelligence, as these are my primary research focus areas. So, I wanted to leverage my existing skills to help you identify, validate, and grow your niche. So, whether you're building something new or pivoting your current path, you leave with actionable tools to move forward. Now, let's start by asking these questions before we really dive into our session. What am I really good at? Like, think about the tasks you can do easily that others often struggle with. These could include coding, storytelling, problem solving, public speaking, negotiation design, or teaching. Second, ask what do others often ask me for help with? Sometimes we actually underestimate our own strengths. So, your network's questions can be a mirror to your hidden expertise. Thirdly, ask yourself what activities make you lose track of time. Like flow state activities are often aligned with your natural strengths and passions. And lastly, what have I consistently excelled at during school, work, or personal projects? So now look at the recurring praises, awards, or achievements for these patterns. Now let's move on from reflection to action. Now that you have explored how important it is to understand your personal skill set, I want to walk you through a practical and structured exercise, and you can do this now along with me. So, this step is foundational. Before you identify your niche, you need to be crystal clear about what you bring to the table. So, here's what I want you to do. Start by listing your top 5 skills, the ones that come most naturally to you or that you have honed through education, work, or side projects. So these can range from technical to interpersonal, and they often reveal patterns that lead to niche alignment. So, to make this more actionable, let's categorize them into 4 buckets. The first one is technical skills. These are your build it, code it, run it types of capabilities. So think data analysis, user research, software development, or maybe no code automation. So, for instance, someone with a very strong background in user research and prototyping might find a niche in helping nonprofits or government agencies improve their digital onboarding experiences. Interesting, right? Second is the creative skills bucket. These include writing, graphic design, content creation, and storytelling. So, these skills are powerful in branding, marketing, and community building. So, for instance, a good case is a content strategist who started as a video editor and now helps mental health coaches scale via short form video content. So, you can see how innovatively one can use their skills. The third bucket is the interpersonal skills, often underestimated but incredibly valuable. Think about your ability to coach, mediate, or present ideas clearly. These shine in leadership, consultancy, or education roles. So, one of my clients built a business around negotiation coaching for female freelancers simply by leaning into her strength as a communicator and advocate. See how interesting things could be. And the last bucket is the analytical skills. These are critical thinkers, people who thrive on strategy, planning, and pattern recognition. Skills like market research, user insight analysis, or financial modeling fall here. For instance, an ex analyst used her market research background to launch a niche newsletter analyzing early stage tech trends for angel investors. Can you imagine? Once you have mapped your skills into these four buckets, look at which areas overlap. That overlap often reveals your zone of genius, a space where your talent, experience, and curiosity intersect. So I call this my ikigai thing. So this list will become your decision making filter. When someone asks, what is your niche? You'll be able to answer, not just based on what's trendy, but based on where your true value lies. Now, let's take a moment to go deeper into self alignment using a framework that's elegant in its simplicity and profound in its insight, as you all might know, the Ikigai diagram. So, Ikigai, as it's world known, is a Japanese concept that loosely translates to the reason of being. So it represents the intersection where your passions, talents, and values meet with what the world actually needs and is willing to pay you for it. So the diagram is structured around four key questions. First, what do you love? Second, what are you good at? And lastly, what the world needs. So this shift in your focus from inward to outward is about understanding the broader context, trends, unmet needs, pain points, social gaps, or underserved populations. And lastly, what can you be paid for? This brings in the practical lenses. Money, important for everyone. It addresses market demand and validates whether your idea is sustainable as a career or as a business. So, where all four circles overlap, that is your ikigai, your sweet spot. Now, let me share an example. So, a legal professional I coached long time back had a strong interest in child welfare and education policy. That is what she loved. She was skilled in legal drafting, research, and advocacy. What she was good at. So, she noticed that many nonprofits and grassroots organizations lacked legal access and also compliance support. And this was what the world needed. So eventually, she launched a legal education platform offering simplified, actionable legal guidance to educators and social workers, what she could be paid for. So that intersection became her ikigai and the foundation of a meaningful niche business. So, this model prevents you from blindly following profit or staying confined to passion projects with no traction, right? It brings best from both the worlds. It brings clarity to the balance between impact and income. So, as you move forward, I encourage you to sit with these four circles, reflect honestly, do not rush the process. Sometimes your ikigai isn't discovered, it's built through iterations. Because where your deepest strengths meet the world's deepest needs lies the most fulfilling and sustainable direction you can take. So you could try out these strength assessment tools. The first one is Gallup Strengths Finder or 16 Personalities, MBTI. The second one is Clifton Strengths for Professional Strengths. You can use these to get language and clarity around your natural talents. So, again, the bonus tip here is to create a skills portfolio. Now, this portfolio could be a simple table or a Notion board or even a mood board showing each of your skills, your proficiency, and the examples of how you have used it. You could include all the projects that you were a part of that you were very passionate about. This becomes very useful when pitching yourself, building your own brand, or crafting a business. So now that you have identified your core skill sets and passions, it's time to turn inward facing insight into outward facing opportunity. So, this next step, finding your niche market, is where things start getting real and probably the most important part of our session. A niche isn't just a small segment of a large market. It's a specific group of people with a real need, a shared identity, and often an unmet frustration or pain point, as you may call it in business terms. So, when you align your skills with this group's pain points, you don't just offer a service, you offer relief, relevance, and results. To start asking yourself a few strategic questions. First, who needs these skills the most? Think beyond job roles. Is it early stage founders, school teachers struggling with tech, remote teams, creators with ADHD? Be specific. Second, ask, are there underserved communities or industries I resonate with? So, do you have a cultural or social connection to a group that often gets overlooked in mainstream innovation? Think about it. Thirdly, ask yourself, what current trends or problems match my expertise? Perhaps it's AI ethics, digital accessibility, or climate conscious business design. Where does your skill intersect with this momentum? Fourth, ask yourself, where do I have insider knowledge or lived experience? This is gold. Your perspective gives you an edge others do not have. Maybe you have worked in healthcare, or you are a first generation founder, or you understand diaspora dynamics. So, once you have some ideas about where your niche might be, start validating it organically. So, explore online communities. That is where your audience speaks unfiltered. Reddit is a great platform for honest pain points. Looking for subreddits like startups, user experience, entrepreneur, etc. Secondly, LinkedIn groups or Discord servers give you a pulse on professional and emerging interest areas. Thirdly, look for patterns. Are there frequently asked questions? Are people venting or asking the same thing over and over again? Posts with strong emotional language like I'm so tired of this process or I wish there was a tool that dot 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 are your biggest clues. These are pain points waiting for solutions. So here are some lightweight but powerful tools to help you see what broader market is searching for. Google Trends. Does interest in your niche grow seasonally? Is it a staple or is it surging? Second, answer the public. What questions are people Googling about your topic? Thirdly, exploding topics. Stay ahead of the curve by identifying markets growing fast but still under the radar. Next, product hunt. See what's being launched. Is your idea already out there? Can you offer a simpler or more personalized version of that? Lastly, Quora. Read through detailed questions and struggles posted by real people. This is your raw data. This type of desk research can often replace weeks of guessing. Now let's quickly take it offline, or at least off forum. Talk to 3 to 5 real users. This is the most important action step. Ask about their current challenges and frustrations. Dig into what they already are using to solve their problems and why it's falling short. Lastly, ask if the conversation flows naturally. Ask them how much they would like realistically to pay to solve it better. If you hear the same frustration more than once, you have found a signal. Now let's tie all of it together with a formula. Once you are clearer on your direction, define your niche in one sentence using this framework. I help specific audience solve specific problem using your skill or method. So here's an example. I help early stage non-profit founders streamline their operations through simple UX and automation tools. This one sentence can shape your website copy, pitch deck, and elevator pitch, even your product design. So finding your niche isn't just about, identifying a market. It's about finding people you're uniquely equipped to serve. Let that sink in. And when your skills, empathy, and knowledge align with a specific need, you become unforgettable to the people who matter the most. Now that you have mapped your skills and started identifying your niche, it's time to apply that to the real world. This stage is where clarity turns into opportunity, where you bridge the gap between what you are good at and what people actually need. Let me start with a simple truth. All successful businesses solve a problem, and often the best ones solve a frustrating problem. So, something that people deal with often enough to care but do not know how to fix. So, ask yourself these key questions. First one: can I use my skill to make someone's life easier, cheaper, or faster? Think of time consuming workflows, outdated tools, or disconnected systems. Like, for instance, can your automation skills save hours of solopreneurs? Can your legal background simplify contract navigation for creatives? Second, ask yourself, have I experienced a problem personally that I can fix for others? So, personal pain points are often powerful business signals. If you have struggled with something and solved it for yourself, you are already a prototype, even if it's informal. So, for example, MailChimp was born when its founders got tired of manually sending emails for clients. Canva emerged because the founder saw how hard it was for non designers to create clean visuals. So, lastly, ask yourself, what do people dread doing? From scheduling and budgeting to choosing health plans or applying for grants, it's a pain in academia. These moments of friction are often rich with unmet needs, right? And the last question that you need to ask yourself is, what do people settle for because they think that's just the way it is? This is my all time favorite question because it reveals hidden assumptions in every industry. Airbnb and Uber both started with this mindset. Why should I have to pay for a hotel or call a taxi dispatcher? What if you looked at your industry with the same lenses? Now, your next step: brainstorm solutions. Here's a simple template to guide your ideation. People struggle with problem, and I can solve it by your skill or approach. So, let me share three examples of how this could look. First, small business owners lose hours managing appointments. I can create a simple automated booking system using my no code skills. Secondly, students are overwhelmed by career decisions. With my research and communication skills, I can guide them through career mapping sessions. Thirdly, nonprofits often struggle with clear communication. With my UX writing and design skills, I can help them improve their donation landing pages. Even if you're not building a business yet, these statements clarify your value and help you frame your offerings in a way others can understand and engage with. Now, validate fast. Before you build big, just validate fast. Now, here's the critical part: validating your ideas with real people. You do not need a website, application, or a prototype. What you need is evidence that the problem exists and people care enough to solve it. First is run a quick survey. Create a quick survey using Google Forms or Typeform. It's all free. Ask 5 to 7 questions to uncover daily challenges, how people currently handle them, and what they would prefer instead. Have 3 4 casual conversations with people who represent your target audience. Ask open ended questions like, what's the most frustrating part of doing so and so task? Have you ever tried solving this? What worked? What did not? Would you pay for a better way to do it? So, these are the direct but at the same time open ended questions you can ask your real users. And most importantly, listen more than you speak. So, your goal is not to pitch, it's to learn. The patterns you hear will guide your next move. Now, again, a bonus tip. I love bonus tips. So, here's a bonus tool: problem solution fit canvas. When you're ready to refine your thinking, I recommend using the problem solution fit canvas. It's a one-page tool that helps clarify alignment between your idea and user needs. Problem, for instance: who is experiencing this? Why is it painful? Why is it frustrating? current solutions. What are they going to do now to solve it? Why isn't that working well enough? Your solution. How does your skill or approach offer a significantly better experience or result? So, this exercise not only sharpens your messaging, it also helps you re risk your idea before investing time, money, or energy into building it. So, in order to sum it all up, do not start by building, start by solving. Do not guess what people want, ask, listen, and then validate. And always return to this one question: am I solving something that really matters to someone? Because once you are, you have not just found your niche, you have found a reason for your solution to exist, and that's really important. Let's now shift from validation to value creation. You have done the groundwork, all the background research that you could do, identified your strengths, found a clear niche, validated a real world problem. Now comes the entrepreneurial leap, transforming your skills into a business idea, which is the most important thing at this stage. So, here's the key shift: stop thinking about only offering your skills as a service. Instead, now at this stage, you can ask, can I productize this skill in a way that generates value beyond my hours? So, this concept is often referred to as creating scalable value, not offering that delivers consistent impact even when you are not directly involved in every transaction, right? So, by exploring the formats, your skills can take a if you're a teacher, maybe your method becomes an online course. If you're a developer, your code becomes a Notion template or a microSAS tool. If you're a researcher, your expertise becomes a strategy guide or a paid workshop, and it pays really well. So, here are some tested options: digital products, ebooks, templates, Notion kits, or coding snippets. Second, online courses or workshops hosted on platforms like Teachable or Gumroad or Udemy. Apps or tools, especially useful for automating a repeatable process. Memberships or newsletters, ideal for those looking to build long term relationships with an audience. Lastly, coaching or consulting, great for translating knowledge into transformation. Now, since we have covered everything else, it comes to choosing a business model that aligns with you. The next question is, what business model fits your lifestyle and vision? This is very important, which is often overlooked. Consider the following, as you can see on the screen: freelancing, consulting, product ideation, joint ventures, or partnerships. So these are the options that you have that you can choose from, or there, if there are some others available. Lastly, it's very important for you to reflect on whether you want to scale solo or build a team. So this choice, making this choice initially, will guide everything from your pricing structure to your long-term sustainability model, which would be very helpful in the future. Now, let's talk a little about the action steps. So, once you have decided on a format and a model, it's time to put your idea to paper. I recommend like two tried and tested strategic tools. First is the Lean Canvas one, it's my absolute favorite. It's perfect for early stage business ideas. It helps you, map out everything: the problem you're solving, customer segments, unique value proposition, revenue streams, unfair advantage, and more, etc. Then comes Value Proposition Canvas. It helps you align your product or service with your customer's reality. Like, what jobs are they trying to do? What pains are they experiencing? Gains are they aiming for? And how does your product solve that better than the existing solutions? So, now let's talk about start small, build, test, and learn. So, this is where most people get stuck. They try to build perfect thing first. There's no such thing as a perfect thing at the first attempt. But the best strategy is to build a minimum viable offer, MVO. That's a simplified version of your service or product that lets people experience the transformation you are promising. So, let me just give you an example. Suppose, say, in a week, I'll help solopreneurs automate 3 core tasks using Zapier. Simple, clear, result focused. Then test it. So build a quick landing page using Card, Notion, or Wix. There are plenty of platforms out there that you can use for free. Offer a pilot session, paid or free. Use Calendly or Stripe to handle bookings. Gather testimonials, iterate, and improve. So that's your first step of the entire strategy. So now let's get to how to grow an audience as you build. So do not wait until a product is perfect, to start talking about it. Instead, just share your journey on LinkedIn, Twitter, or any other social platform. Post your learnings, challenges, and mini wins. Invite early users to co create features or listen to their requests and needs or modules with you. So, this does two things: you build trust and you create demand before you even launch. By now, you all must know how I love the bonus tips. So, here's another one. So, use the one person business formula. I always do this. Like, to keep things simple, use this practical formula to define your offer. Like skill, problem solved, delivery method, that's equal to micro business. So, here are a couple of examples. For instance, let's suppose there's a brand strategist into confused early founders, into one on one strategy sessions. That's $1,500 a month. Or, for instance, AI prompt engineer into solopreneurship, into Notion based automation templates. That's equal to passive income product. So, this kind of clarity will guide your pricing models, messaging, and even how you scale over time. So, that's really so, now let's talk about a concept that can drastically shift the trajectory of your idea or business, that is, strategic positioning. So, you can have an excellent product, you can be highly skilled, but in today's saturated world, if you're not positioned clearly, you are invisible. And that's a harsh world out there. So, this is why positioning matters. So, people don't remember generic, they remember value that's relevant, specific, and also felt. So, let me just give you a quick example. If someone comes up to me and they say they are a consultant, that tells me very little about what they actually do. But what if they come to me on a networking event and then they say, I help B2B SaaS startups reduce churn by 30% through onboarding redesign, so and so. So that's instantly more memorable and valuable. So here's the critical point: features can be copied. Your UI, your pricing, your service checklist, all are replicable. But your value, voice, and vision, these are uniquely yours. Now let's talk about how to stand out. Here are three proven strategies that help successful solopreneurs and startups differentiate with clarity. First, position around value, not features. So don't just talk about what you offer, focus on the transformation it creates. Instead of I design websites, you can go I help therapists double client bookings by optimizing their digital presence. So you give much more information and background about what you actually do. Second, craft a memorable brand voice and story. People connect with people. That's natural. Your journey, your worldview, and even your humor can become assets. Think of brands like Duolingo or Liquid Death. They didn't just market their features, they built personalities around their product. Use niche messaging. Speak directly to your target audience in their own language. The more specific, the better. Catering coaching for women returning to the workforce after motherhood is far more powerful than just career coaching or career coaching for women. You specifically talk about your target audience here. Now, let's put this into practice. I want to invite you to take a moment and identify three things that make your offering visibly different. This exercise might seem simple, but it's actually foundational. Ask yourself, what's your unique method or philosophy? Maybe you mix design with psychology. Maybe your work is rooted in lived experience others can't replicate. So, who exactly is your niche audience? Be bold and really narrow. Your audience is not just everyone. Third question: what results can you confidently promise or point toward? Tangible outcomes build trust and make it easier for others to refer you as well. So, I'll just give you all a few quick examples. Like, for instance, a UX strategist who only works with edtech startups focused on literacy. So, you see the niche area that the user researcher strategist works on. So, a data analyst who teaches social impact organizations how to turn raw data into storytelling. So, they help them optimize their process, right? Lastly, a branding consultant who uses mythology frameworks to help South Asian founders articulate identity. See, this is such a novel thing. So, these are not just services, there are positions in a crowded landscape, actually. Now, let's quickly talk about what it all looks like in practice. I know it's very easy to, talk about frameworks and strategies, but nothing is more powerful than seeing real people apply these ideas to real world problems and turn them into differentiated, profitable, and mission driven ventures. So, let's take example of a case study, say called Freelancely, a startup that uses AI. So basically, this startup addresses a very real, overlooked gap: underserved freelancers in rural areas who struggle to craft effective gig proposals. Their insight? The proposals that win often follow subtle patterns, tone, structure, keywords that aren't easy to learn without mentorship. Their solution? An AI tool trained not on generic data but on top performing proposals from, say, similar regions and local dialects. It teaches users to write better and more competitive pitches. Differentiator factor: it wasn't the AI alone, it was the accessibility and hyper localization that made them stand out. So, you see how they used AI to integrate their customized feature into their product, which is appealing to their target audience. Now, let's go on to case study 2, which is VR World Lens. Here, this application integrates VR, virtual learning, and cultural learning, virtual reality with cultural learning. So, this venture tackled a challenge faced by thousands of professionals. So, how to prepare for international assignments or collaborate with remote global teams. So, they used immersive VR simulations to teach cultural etiquette, from greeting norms to business rituals, within realistic and interactive environments. It wasn't a fun experience. It solved a critical business issue, that is, like preventing miscommunication and strengthening trust across borders. So, the differentiating factor here is they merged cultural immersion with practical business training, a rare blend that made their offer compelling to global corporations. So, see how interestingly they merged these two together to arrive at this result. Lastly, let's talk about the other case study, which is CQ Coach, which is solopreneur. This is a solo founder who recognized a specific pain point. Remote managers leading culturally diverse teams were struggling with misalignment or misinterpretation and missed productivity. She offered one on one coaching or group coaching built around a core strength, that is cultural intelligence CQ. Her clients did not just get leadership coaching, they learned how to adapt to their tone, feedback, and collaboration style for different cultures. So, the differentiating factor here is her unique angle wasn't just in coaching, it was the fusion of leadership development with CQ methodology. So, these three stories can reflect the powerful truth which I'm trying to convey through this session, is that differentiation does not require a massive budget. It requires clarity, context, and a careful alignment with real user needs. Now, let's talk about the tools and mindsets that are redefining how small businesses compete and stand out. So, in today's world, innovation isn't just a luxury, it's a superpower, right? And the most exciting part, many of the tools that used to be exclusive to large companies are now fully accessible to individuals, freelancers, and also solopreneurs. So let's talk about the emerging trends to watch out for first. First one is, of course, all our favorite, AI. From writing assistant to smart workflows, AI is helping people personalize content, automate time consuming tasks, and optimize how value is delivered, right? For instance, AI generated client reports tailored to user goals, or personalized learning paths in coaching programs, and many others. Second, let's come on to the emerging tech, that is AR, VR, and also MR, mixed reality. Immersive training, interactive onboarding, virtual product walkthroughs, these are no longer futuristic. They are being used today to deepen engagement and also reducing cost at the same time. For instance, a non-profit creating a VR empathy simulator for donors. Just imagine how novel it is. Second, small agency using AR to preview brand packaging in store. So these are all very interesting. Lastly, let's talk about automation. Think Zapier, Make, and Notion integrations. Automation is eliminating busy work and giving people time to focus on strategy and service, right? So that's the most important part of automation, giving people time to actually focus on something that's more important and relevant and real. Lastly, the creator economy. If you have expertise, you have a product, whether through newsletters, paid communities, courses, or digital kits. Solo creators are building entire businesses around, personal knowledge and connection. Now, since my research expertise are very much focused on cultural intelligence, I want to talk a little about this and how it can be integrated in your business idea and how it can help you scale that. So, let's talk about CQ. Innovation's hidden catalyst. CQ may not seem techy, but it's increasingly becoming a competitive differentiator in globalized markets. It helps you design for diversity, it improves your storytelling across cultures, which allows your product to be on diverse markets and increase your user base. It equips you to lead teams and build brands that resonate globally. So when you combine tech tools with cultural empathy, you don't just scale, you scale thoughtfully. So the action step here is just choose one emerging tool or trend, AI, VR, automation, or CQ, and ask, how can I embed this into my current offer? Can this unlock a better experience, better accessibility, or broader reach? So, here are a couple of examples to spark ideas. Can I turn my client onboarding process into a VR walkthrough for clarity and, say, delight? Can I use AI to write custom onboarding emails for each new client based on their personality type or goal? So, the final thought here is you do not need to invent something brand new, right? You need to reimagine how your existing skills and offerings can evolve using these emerging tools. Because when you pair innovation with empathy, you do not just stand out, you build something that actually lasts. Now that we have covered a lot today, a lot really. So, from identifying your unique strengths to finding your niche, validating your ideas, and transforming your skills into a business, But information without action doesn't lead to transformation, right? So, let's close with a mini action plan, a simple roadmap you can follow this week to start turning clarity into traction. First, reflect on your skills. Start here. What do people consistently come to you for? This may be advice, specific skill, or uh, the way you solve problems. Don't overlook what feels natural. That's often your hidden superpower. So write them down, categorize them into technical, creative, interpersonal, or strategic sections. This reflection isn't just for ego, it's for the foundation of your value proposition. Now, secondly, identify one underserved problem. Now, ask yourself, whose life could I improve with these skills? Think, think small, think specific. You do not need a big market. You need a clear, unserved niche. Is it nonprofit founders struggling with automation? Or is it the artist community overwhelmed by personal branding? Or is it students navigating career uncertainty? So start by identifying one problem that aligns with both your skill and your empathy. Thirdly, talk to three real users at least. This is your most important step. Validation does not happen in your head, right? It happens in conversation. Now ask, what's your biggest frustration when it comes to XYZ topic? Ask, have you tried to solve it? What worked and what did not? Ask again, what would be a perfect solution according to you? So you do not need hundreds of responses, right? Just 3 to 5 honest conversations can show you patterns and the possibilities. So Then the next step for you is to build a simple MVP or offer as we discussed in the session earlier. Do not overcomplicate this step. Your MVP does not need code, logo, or even a website. That's for later. It could be a one page template, a 30-minute clarity call, a clickable Figma prototype, or a 2-week beta challenge. So the goal is to test transformation. Can you help someone go from stuck to progress using just your skills? So that's important. Lastly, share your story publicly. This step is often skipped, but it's a growth accelerator. Like, document your journey, why you chose this niche, what are you building, what are you learning along the way. Share it on platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you use. So you'll attract feedback, opportunities, and early adopters, not because your product is finished, but because your message is clear and your intentions are real. So the final thoughts here are: progress does not start with perfect, it starts with a decision, a small, bold step forward. Here's my invitation: choose one action from this slide and commit to doing it within the next 48 hours. That's it. Just one. Because momentum isn't built through knowledge, it's built through motion. So, are you all ready to take that final step? Since you all sat through my entire session without giving up, here's a little giveaway announcement. Before we wrap up, I have something exciting to share with you. As a part of our Community Impact Initiative at Primanti Research Group, we are thrilled to announce a special giveaway designed to help emerging founders like you gain traction with clarity and confidence. So, we are offering full user research and market research support to the first 5 businesses that sign up, completely free of charge. So, that includes tailored user interview and insights, market gap identification, early stage product validation strategies, and expert guidance on aligning your offer with your audience's real needs. So, it basically includes all of your UX needs, UX research needs. So, whether you're building a digital tool, launching a service, or just testing out a new business model, we want to help you do it smarter, faster, and more empathetically. So, this is our way of giving back and fueling innovation with substance, not just speed. So, spots are limited and they go away really fast. So, if this feels aligned, do not wait. I'll be sharing the sign up link after our session, and feel free to come up to me directly. We love hearing about new ideas. You can reach me over email or over LinkedIn. And we believe that every great business begins with listening. So, thank you so much for listening to me today for 40 minutes now. Let us help you listen better, build better, and grow stronger. So, on that note, I'll take your leave and I will see you out there creating innovative and new things in the future. And on the next slide, you can see the QR code for my LinkedIn and my email address. So feel free to shoot an email at this email address. And also feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I reply within a week, I promise. And also, yes, I wish I could do this live, but feel free to reach out to me with your questions and with the little activities. If you end up completing those activities, I would love to hear your thoughts. And also, let's connect on LinkedIn and keep growing your community, keep working on your expertise, and keep creating your niche market. Thank you so much.